Okay, once again, due to poor internet, I assume, I'm having to use my phone to take a video of this. But when you get ready to graph something like this, the first thing I would want to do is distribute that 1/4 in. I don't think they tell you have to do that. I just would rather. Okay, so I'm going to take you to my pencil and paper here just for a minute. Look, we've got a messy kitchen here. Okay, so when I do this and I distribute this in, this is going to give me 2/4 minus 1/4 e to the x. I'm just taking the 1/4 and multiplying it in. Obviously, this reduces right here to 1/2. Okay. Now I also like to write my exponential part first. So I've got negative 1/4 e to the x. This is positive plus 1/2. Okay. I like the way it looks better. I can tell that eventually this is going to go up a half. Okay. But we all know on order of operations, we do exponential part first. So I'm going to do this part first when I get ready to graph it. So keep this in mind, maybe even write it down while I'm showing you how to graph this. Okay, so back to the computer screen. Here we go. Sorry, this is so not very professional. When you get ready to graph it, I'm clicking on the graph. Be patient. Internet is slow here. It's storming. Always tell your graph this is an exponential graph. I always use the point 0, 1, no matter what. I don't care if my base is e or my base is 2. That's the magic point. So start right there. Okay? Now, order does matter. And what you want to look down here is make sure you change your base if necessary. This does have base e, so I'm okay. But I did notice that I missed one earlier because I forgot to change this to base 2 or base 3. I don't remember what my base was. But here, the base is e, okay? Now, there's nothing going up here. If there was something going on up here, like if I needed to shift it left or right, I would want to do that first. But I'm going to go ahead and reflect it. This is going to reflect it across the x. If you have a negative out front, it reflects it across the x. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click reflect it across the x. Order matters, okay? And then I'm going to do a vertical shrink of 1/4. It would be a stretch if it was greater than 1. Since it's less than 1, it's going to be called a shrink. Okay, so there's my 1/4. And I'm going to click over here just kind of on the gray matter, and you can see it kind of wait till that moves, right? And then, I almost forgot, I noticed, remember I added 1/2, so I need to make sure that I make it go up 1/2. So I'm going to go up 1/2, so I'm writing 1/2. So that's what that's going to look like. And I should be done. I'm going to go ahead and click over here just in case. Okay, let's shut that down. And let's hope it's right. Took me a little while to figure out what made Mr. MML happy. And we are done. Okay, let's look at another one where we have a base of e. It's going to take it, oh, here it's going to make me fill this part out. Yeah, we'll just skip that part because I want to look at another one. Okay, this is good. Notice this is an exponential curve and it's going to have a reflection across the y, and it always does the opposite of what you think. I'm actually going to go left 5, so my base is e. That's what I will start with here. I am going to go left 5. There we go. And it's going to reflect across the y. So we have to come over here. What I really want to get to is the part where we graph. Okay, says we're good. We know we're good. So again, when you get ready to graph, you're going to always, again, I don't care what you're graphing, you're going to hit this exponential graph. You're going to put in the 0.01. Okay. And if there's a reflection, remember we always do exponents first. So this one, it doesn't really matter. Everything is up here, but I'm going to go left 5, make sure the base is e, and it is. I'm going to go left 5, that's horizontal. So I'm going to put in -5, and I'm going to reflect it across the y. And we're going to be like so happy. And we're good. Okay. Let's see if we can find one more. This is another good one. Again, I would be distributing that 3 in, okay? So I'm going to write this down on my paper. I do not like to deal with those parentheses. If you are okay with it, fine. But I'm going to distribute it in. So I'm going to come over here to my paper. Notice if I distribute that in, that's a 9. And then I'm going to distribute my 3 in here. Personally, I like to write the exponential part first. This is a positive 9, so it's going to be plus 9. So at the very last thing, I'm going to go up 9. That would be a vertical shift up 9. This is my base E, okay? Because there's a negative here and a negative here, I'm going to do a reflection across the Y and across the X, okay? So look right here. It says reflect the graph of Y equals, and we're going to have to put in E to the X. Okay, we're going to, this already talks about the X-axis, so I know we're going to want to reflect across the Y. And then we're going to go, let's see. We're going to stretch it vertically. I know it's stretching it vertically because it's a greater than 1, the number out front. I'm going to stretch it vertically by a factor of, let me go back up here and see. This is a 3, so I'm going to stretch it vertically by 3. That's where that number is coming from, okay? I'm going to reflect it across the x-axis, and then I'm going to shift it up 9 units. And I'm going to say, check my answer. And of course we're good. We already know that. Okay, here we go. We're going to get good at this no matter what. Exponential curve, because we're working on exponents. We're going to tell it we want the 0.01. Okay, there it is. We are also going to make sure that the base is E. There it is. Then we are going to reflect it across the Y. And remember, I'm going to come back over here. Remember how we always do this part first. So we're going to reflect it across the Y first, okay? Then we're going to stretch it by a factor of 3. So I'm going to stretch it by a factor of 3. I'm going to reflect it across the X now. And you can see it moving over there. And then last, I'm going to go up 9. You have to put it in the right order or it won't count it right. And here we go. This is when you keep your fingers crossed. And there you go. Hopefully that helps.